Yo, yo, my sovereigns, what up? This is Boba Fett, uncensored on the internet, with episode 10 tonight of Splinterlands 101. And we've got a bit of a mixed bag tonight with covering the neutral quest, which is the last of the splinters we get to do. And we got a pretty awesome comment from Blingit on the last post. She went to a lot of work with her comment, so it's only fair that we're going to address as much of that as possible. And to spice things up for you, both Gio and Matt have got a recent game to share with you that we will comment on in real time as you're watching the game. So welcome back to the show, Matt and Gio.
Hello. Hello. Always.
All right. So what's new? Gio, you sent me a message on Signal about saying you're doing a bit of research or a bit of homework for this episode. So what have you been up to?
Well, originally before I found out that this episode was going to be about neutral, I had just, chosen a bunch of cards that I thought was relevant for silver and for people wanting to get into gold with a relevant, price point and all that. And
which is addressing Sarah's point, so that's still valid. Yeah,
it is, but I think we could probably leave that for another episode, after we do neutral. And so neutral I haven't done much on, because as I said, I was focusing on the main splinters, the main elements. And so neutral, I did max out a Zenith monk today.
Okay.
Because he has the heal, he has the void, he has the magic reflect.
Yeah, because he's pretty useless at the basic level, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. But yeah, I was just looking into it. I was like, oh man, this is pretty handy. I mean, I because I'm starting from the latest, the latest pack. Yeah, all I have is Chaos Legion. So I was like, yeah, I need more of these cards that can combat in magic. So it doesn't hurt. And with the format, with the new format that's about to roll out, it'll just be new cards from Untamed, Dice, and and the latest one.
I think the gaps in your collection will be more obvious because you're coming up against all these other cards and going, oh, I wish I'd have been able to pull off that strategy, but I've only got this, and this. So you know what gaps you've got. Whereas when you've been around for a few years and you're scrolling through and you're scrolling through and you're scrolling through, you look at the new cards and go, I'm sure there's some real good strategies out there, but I'm kind of so A, set in my ways, and B, I'm already scrolling through so many trying to find the ones that I have. So yeah, I get like this every time. With Untamed, it took me, a good 6 months after Untamed dropped to even start regularly incorporating some of those Untamed cards into my playing style. And now, obviously, you wouldn't do without them. And,
exactly.
I'll go and play an alpha tournament and I'll feel like I've lost my leg because I've just
looking
got
for
these
Untamed.
cards.
It's like, damn, I can't use it.
Yeah, exactly. Where's my So yeah, it's definitely a completely different vibe if you're starting out fresh with Chaos Legion. Just looking at what Sarah's written here, and how do I go if I've just given it all up and cracked a wobbly and left for 2 seasons and then I've come back? We've all been there. just got to regroup. And hey, you're starting low, right? So you can put together a bit of a win streak and feel like you've improved maybe with the time off.
I actually got a gold card neutral in my daily quest chest, one of my daily quest chests today. The
nice.
Gargoyle Lion. So I've got the lion and the devil now in a gold foil from reward chests.
Nice. I picked up a few of those. So I maxed out my lion and my conjurer, I think. 2 mana life team. The people put him up in front, he just bricks me every time. It's ridiculous. So I maxed him in gold, but there's a lot to like. I think the neutral splinter has really blossomed.
I think so.
Sort of come into its own. We don't have a neutral summoner. I don't know if we'll ever have a neutral summoner, but sorry?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought about that.
I shuddered then because I thought you were just saying the name of a neutral summoner I'd completely forgotten about. I was
Oh no, I was just whispering
Gotcha.
under my breath. Like,
yeah, good stuff.
yeah.
It's really, yeah. So I've mostly, I regret not maxing out my Centaur when it was still even remotely possible from a financial perspective. But I've got my my Cyclops at level 6. I don't think you really want him much higher than that, because then he starts picking up speed. You only really want him in reverse speed, where he's got 1 speed and stun. So I use him whenever I see it's a knockout match. I'll especially if it's reverse speed, then I'll grab my Cyclops there. He's pretty tough and pretty decent. So again, like what I was saying last week with the multi-snipe, multi-sneak, with those Uraeus, Sandworm, those guys that can really hit hard and really furnish a massive multi-sneak lineup, it gives you that flexibility to play a whole lot more different options. In getting ready for this, pulling together, Bob said, I'll pull together a match that you want to show. And playing today, I played quite a few matches where I tried to use most, if not all, neutrals, and I got wrecked every time. And I really do think the bang for your buck with actual splintered regular non-neutral cards, I think, is better.
Yeah.
But the neutrals are great for filling in those little gaps. And so if you try to furnish a team entirely with neutrals, that reduction in bang for your buck across the entire team, that really starts to add up and becomes a terminal. And that, I've tried half a dozen times to play a team that was at least 50% neutrals or even more, and I got wrecked every time. So
Yeah.
They're great if you use just the right one at just the right moment, but if you don't, you're in trouble. One that I love is Dwarven Wizard. He was from the dice set, I believe. He's just incredible. 3 mana snipe magic with stun. He dovetails with so many other cards beautifully. And yeah, I don't use him enough because he's too far down the roster and I keep forgetting about him, but he's a mad good card, the Dwarven Wizard. He's an epic from, I think, Dice or Orbs, those,
look at it.
the secondary type packs.
Yeah, I think too the neutrals are just a great way. Like you're talking last week with the dragons, like giving a little bit more flexibility in your team, which is I don't think a neutral summoner would work, because then like I said, you've only got the neutrals. Whereas the neutrals, like my favorite go-tos whenever high mana game are the Goblin Mech, Sandworm, and the Magi Sphinx. Whenever I can or I've got the space, I just love those cards. So I've got my favorite neutrals, but like I think you said a couple of episodes back with the Lord Arianthus head in the jar, it's like it's right down the bottom when you're scrolling, and like usually for the first card I've clicked the melee icon, so straight away I've rubbed a bunch. So I don't look enough at my neutral cards, but I definitely have my favorites.
Ironically, that's probably really good for his win rate though, because you only pick him when you really want him.
Yeah.
You don't just casually pick him off the shelf. You got to go searching for him because you want him. He's exactly the right card to fit that to fit that bill. So yeah. And he really put neutrals on the map, I think, back in the day when he first rolled out. As more and more people discovered strategies that were almost unbeatable with Lord Arianthus, then the price started climbing and people started panicking. And when he ran out, the price really jackpotted. So as time went on, it eased off a bit with Chain Golem and a few other sort of cards that would do a similar sort of play a similar role. Cube, in a lot of ways, can play a similar sort of role as a damage sponge that doesn't attack back, isn't vulnerable to thorns and magic reflect and the like, doesn't attack back, just sits there and just gets hit over and over again. So as more of those cards came in, a lot of the feeding frenzy around Lord Arianthus died down. I think he's still pretty expensive, but For a while there, it was just ridiculous, the prices people were paying because of the frenzy kicked in. So
Yeah.
And that's a lesson to learn too. Prices do sometimes come back down. So if you're going to pick up on something, by all means hit it hard, but also know that, okay, you might get this particular card might get replaced by something. So, if you've gone 10x, maybe, sell a few back into that frenzied market, and then, try diversifying a little bit more and grab something else that hasn't started foaming at the mouth yet.
Yeah. And what about you, Gio? What's your sort of your pick with the neutrals?
I like Uraeus. I like Xenith Monk from Time. Again, it's all respective to like the abilities that you need for a particular match and what you want. And it's just good to have these neutrals here because they might add more synergy with a deck that you don't have that particular card with or that ability. And it's just good, if you need an extra slow, there you got Creeping Ooze. If you need a Gelatinous Cube for like for Poison Battle, or Sandworm if you need an extra sneak, sorry. And if you need, and I'll actually like Xenith Archer. She's a 2 mana, she's a range, she's got 5 health, 4 speed. Yeah, so she's cool to chuck in if it's only range that you can use. Gargoyle or the Lion, he's really good. I've actually showcased him in the match that I sent to you guys. And yeah, first go, I just managed to win using majority neutral monsters.
All right.
Yeah, spoiler alert, man.
Came up. Huh?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
You're saying you shared a match where you won?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know we were supposed to share matches where we won. We're about to watch the match. Don't go telling us how it ends.
Hey, it don't matter. It don't matter. You don't know what exactly happens. Yeah.
It's a Geotrix match. Of course you won.
Yeah. Lose. What's this lose business?
I made it ridiculous as well. I just wanted to.
On that, let's check it out then. Seeing as you've given it such a good blast.
I've opened the can of worms. Yeah. But yeah, look, I like Uraeus, Finari Spellsmith, Xenith Monk, man, like Xenith Archer, Scavo Healing. He's got Repair and Camouflage at level 6. So he's the last to be targeted if you don't have Repair on, and on any of his splinters. Again, this is good for people who've just started off, who need cheap cards. And I feel like neutral gives you that cheap, that ability to get into the market now, over other cards that have Repair, which are a bit more expensive, I find.
All right. Well, let's check out that game then, Gio. What do you think of the lineup there, Matt?
I think, personally, I expect he'll be in a little bit of trouble because of their tank, the Demon Shark with his was it Shield? It's Trample and Enrage. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. My eyes are getting old. I still would, looking at this, I would expect that you would be in a little bit of trouble because that Deep Lurker is a bastard who hurts me every time. Yep. And I would expect he would take out your Fiend fairly quick and then sort of wreck your team. I could see your Uraeus wasting its time on their Torrent Feed and Furious Chicken. You've got Camouflage on your Scavo Hireling, which is handy, very handy considering that he doesn't have any magic cards. So that's good, but I'm aware that his Deep Lurker has poison, and so the damage could get done there. There's not really much in the way of heal. I would suggest what's really interesting about this match is that you're both playing blind. You both have a blind card, but you're the only one who has magic. So with your Insidious Warlock, I would suggest that him doing triple damage every second round because of his recharge ability, and the fact that they're not fielding any silence, so that's you're going to be hitting that 6 magic damage. I can see you winning almost entirely because of your Warlock. It's not to suggest that Lyra the Dark isn't going to have an impact. She's handy because she's opportunist, but yeah, I still think your Insidious Warlock will probably win this one for you.
All right. Why did you choose that lineup, Gio?
Because we wanted to talk about neutral, and I wanted to showcase Gargoyle Lion, the cheapest card,
right?
Neutral, and I wanted to use a majority of the cards to be neutral. This wasn't a real thought out sort of. I wasn't hoping to win first go.
Yeah.
And this guy, he's using water, pretty much meta cards, pretty much what everyone and their dog uses.
Yeah, I use the Flying Squid and the Deep Lurker in the same positions. Yeah.
So I just thought, okay, let's assist Gargoyle Lion. Let's make him, he's like going to be the main tank here. Although he's not a tank, but let's make him one. With blinds, the assist him, all the cards there just assist him. And
I like the mentality, and they didn't end up playing Magic after all anyway. So, having your tank have Void really didn't help. But still, let's watch.
Even my Thaddeus Brood, it did nothing to, and he had all the buffs that actually helped him. My buffs or whatever didn't do much, and it still managed to win. So yeah, I was amazed.
All right, well, let's watch the game then, shall we?
Yep. Let's watch, But wait, whose one are we watching?
Yours, the one we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Maybe just count us down, Bob, and we'll hit Rumble at the same time.
Yeah, all right, so we're going to call Rumble when you're ready to go there, Gio?
Yes. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Rumble.
Well, at least you got the first attack in. Oh,
it's poison.
There's heaps of misses.
Yeah, that's because the blind on each team. Yeah, your Corpse Fiend went.
It looks like I'm going to lose. That's why I love this.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, how can he win? But, yeah.
They've got 2 heavy melees going at you as well. That Demon Shark and the Octopus. They've both got a decent amount of melee. So your repair is really keeping you
alive.
Yeah, it is.
And misses.
And the misses, yeah.
But you're missing as well, so
and
so much missing. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Your Warlock. Every second round he breaks the
that healing cycle.
Yeah. And that was brilliant. It was brilliant to make recharge part of the game. I think it's more brilliance from the team, because that really breaks a lot of those things like the cube and non-attacking, non-dodging, just those big, heavy, massive health.
It does.
It's good, man. That's good. Yeah, Reyes, I like. The only thing I miss about Death is the Skeleton Assassin, that fast sneak with poison. So Uraeus is kind of that for me now. Because I don't really play Death. So yeah, good work. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, have a look at your game, shall we, Matt?
Yeah, we can have a look at my game.
Right. Like that.
Let's have a look at my match. It's at diamond level, so there'll be quite a few, I guess, buffs and buffs and debuffs and anti-buffs and the like. You'll notice he's playing Bortus, which will -1 to magic damage. Normally my Alric would be hampered by that, but again, which is my ongoing chagrin, is I tend to use water cards that aren't magic, so missing out on that +1 to magic by Alric. But it's good in a way, because Bortus, he's really relied on me going magic heavy, and I ended up not having done so. So here I've used 3 pivotal, especially for higher mana matches, neutral cards. So Sandworm, you'll notice just like Geo, I've played a melee sneak in second position, and then he's a big inspiration of mine, Geo. And then at the back, anticipating, because there's a super sneak match, I put the head in a jar at the back end. So are you all loaded up, Geo?
I am. I'm on yours now.
All right, well, I'll count us down with somewhat less drama, less of the dramatic. Let's go 3, 2, 1, rumble.
Oh, sorry. The only reason why I did that was because I wasn't actually on it to press rumble yet for everyone to sync up. That's why I was like, I had to wait for it to come up.
Very good. So he's gone fairly magic heavy, and I anticipated that. So I've used my Torhio the Frozen, because he has Void up the front. I didn't have anybody healing him. I actually thought I'd be in a lot of trouble with this one, because their Elmo Cambio is such a good dodger. Ordinarily he dodges all sorts of things, right? Return fire hurts, so if I miss him, I don't get to hit him. If I hit him, he sends the arrows back to me. So I was concerned quite early in this match, but then Sandworm just came and did his thing, right? And the way Sandworm at high level cuts through armor is just redonk, right? Because he's got that pierce.
Piercing,
so
yeah.
That ended up being a reasonably easy, straightforward win. But I wanted to demonstrate, I guess, the elephant. What's his name? Is he there?
Warchang?
Warchang, that's it. In a super sneak match, those ones with 2 attacks can really turn the tide, right? So if you got something like Vigilator from the Dragon Splinter, or Warchang, the neutral, particularly if you got something like Selenia Sky or Malric Inferno that boosts one or even both, in the case of Archmage Arius, one or both of their attacks. When you've got that super sneak, you really, you're getting 2 attacks out of that card. Of different types as well, which can really, really help. So that was a good example of that, I think, using the Warchang there. So yeah, that was my. I don't think that was too hard to follow along. I mean, like I say, it's in Diamond, but it wasn't a crazy amount of abilities stacking and all that type of thing. Some of them you got 5 or 6 abilities on each one. It's just bedlam. But that was a good example. I'm happy with.
Yeah, I remember on one of our previous posts. Where I can't remember his name, but he commented on, you were talking about Earth, and he shared his Uriel match and yours. And it's the first time I think I've actually watched a Diamond level match, and I had to watch it 2 or 3 times just to keep up with like that, because he had Resurrect as well. It's like dying coming. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, especially and Resurrect. So the card gets killed and all the buffs come off, and then they get resurrected and all the buffs come back on again, and it's like and then of course often they come back with 1 life, so the next guy kills him and then all the buffs come back off. It's like the game is 90% watching the little ability logos come and go rather than watching actual battle. But that's I think neutrals are I think it's a real testament to the value of neutrals that when you get that no neutrals quest, it's only 3 matches, right? You've only got to win three matches, because it is so limiting to not play neutrals at all. And there are times when you get limiting, rule sets, no melee or even Stevens, where you just go, you know what, I'm not going to even try for the no neutrals win this time. High mana is really handy for no neutrals, because often, you've got enough there, enough variety and the like, and you can choose, whichever of the available splinters, which is a luxury. But I think the fact that you'll be on 1 win or 2 wins out of your 3 for your quest, and then you'll win a match, and you're like, oh yeah, that's great, and you see you don't get the extra counter, and you're like, what? Oh, I used the chicken. I used Creeping Ooze. I used, Sandworm. So there's, the neutrals are so handy. You just grab them and play, right? And then afterwards, So even when your quest is to not use them, you still find yourself using them.
Yeah, I've done that so many times with the Chook. Win the game and I go, why didn't I used the chicken.
And I repeat the same thing the next game.
I think I've done that too.
And then and then people keep beating you, and you go, "Why am I so predictable?" You're playing on autopilot anyway.
Yeah, it is like once you've got in the habit of searching those neutral cards, not having them, and the Magi Sphinx as well. The number of times I've put that in my hand on a no neutrals quest, because I mean it's so great. It's what, 5 mana, so you can't use it in the Little League, but just the speed and the attack. And if you're using Arik with a +1, like that, then that's 4 magic attack. I'm not sure at your level. Does it get better at your level, Magic Sphinx?
My Magi Sphinx is quite low level. I've only got a single BCX gold one, and they're $1,500 to buy at all. So again, one of the ones that I should have maxed out while it was still reasonably affordable. So it's level 6 because it's an epic. Yeah, it gets 4 magic damage. That'll be up to 5 if you summon with Alric or Arius or Delwyn. And there's no abilities on it, which I think means that in the Back to Basics rule set, that's one of the ones you want to go for, right? Because they're not losing any of their abilities. They're playing at their max level anyway, because they don't normally have abilities. Like Orca is the same. Magi of the Forest is the same. Cards with no abilities, because then well, you're getting their full benefit in Back to Basics by playing them. So yeah, I should have grabbed her. Let's just for fun, let's look her up on Peak Monsters and see what she would be worth.
I'm just looking at mine. Mine, I didn't realize mine is only level 1. It's just a regular card, level 1, but yeah, 2 magic attack, 3 speed with 4 life, and put that on with Arek.
She's an epic, so
yeah,
you're gonna get here we go, Bog Bite. You can't max 1 in gold. 3 BCX will set you back $6,200, and you've still got another 7 BCX to go. So it's literally impossible to max a gold Magi Sphinx with the cards that are on the market. Even a regular one. Let's have a look at regular. Yeah, you drop $600 and you'll get one that's level 5, but you still can't get to level 6. You still need another 10 BCX that nobody's selling. So a lot of these cards are, effectively retired from the market, which again has its own dynamic, because Magi Sphinx, the lowest listing for a regular is, you can $22 per BCX, which is not that expensive for an epic. But there aren't enough in the market to even, I'd almost be tempted to buy that, to be honest. I'm looking at them going, you drop $200 here and buy up, to the point where where you've got it up to about $45 US, and then you've already doubled the value of them. And what's going to happen from there? It's not like they're going to get. No, that's interesting. Here I am talking out loud again. But unlike Adelaide, I can't just go, I'll just max it in gold. I couldn't afford to, even if the cards were for sale. So yeah, Magi Sphinx, again, this is all just a lesson in don't let these opportunities pass you by. And that dovetails nicely into what Sarah was asking. What should I do about, should I try to get to gold? Am I spending money on cards that I'm not going to be able to use, because I'm in silver? And I really feel like it's worth any player spending the time. And I've said this before, and I really, the voice of experience here, I really believe what you need to do is set your ceiling and then stick to it, right? You need to go, okay, I'm going to be the king of gold. Completely noble, good, worthwhile goal. Go for it. Plan for that. And when you're buying up a card, particularly if it's a card that's going to be out of the market soon, buy enough to max yourself out at that ceiling in gold league. And don't then look at diamond and go, oh, if only, and then start creeping up, right? You kind of want to say, what kind of player do you want to be, and gear your cards in that direction. Because if you say, there's plenty of people who, gold players in Untamed, gold league players, and Chaos Legion comes along and they're like, oh, you know what? I could start sneaking into diamond here now. I could be a competitive diamond player. But they look back at their Untamed cards and go, I love these cards, but I can't play them in diamond. They're not high enough level, and I can't afford to get them to that level. So what do I do here, right? And what do I do here? I'm stuck. And so that's where I really think, pick your ceiling, be ambitious by all means, but pick your ceiling and aim for there. And that's why I max out cards when I get them now. I would rather, I'll look at 5 cards and go, instead of going, I'll get 5 cards and I'll get them each to gold level, I go, okay, well, I'm only going to buy 2 of these cards and max them out, because I won't then look at them forever and go, oh, I wish I'd spent the extra $50 doing it while it was only $50, instead of, okay, well, now it's $1,500 and I just can't justify it anymore. I wish I'd have done that. Cards I don't have at all don't tend to haunt me. I just go, I never got that card. But it's those ones that are stuck midway, you're like, oh, and you get rental return on them and the like, but still, it's that's always the one that grinds away at you. I find. So to answer your question, Sarah, if you're watching, pick your ceiling and max out cards for that, and back your judgment and just go, yep, no, this is where I decided I was going to stay competitive. I want to play for the leaderboard in gold every time, instead of trying to push up to diamond and all of that stuff. I'm going to enter gold tournaments, gold league tournaments. I'm going to immerse myself in gold league and do the best I can with the cards that I have, instead of second guessing myself. And you get what I'm saying there anyway.
Yeah, because being an epic card too, that Magi Sphinx, I only need 1 card to get it to level 2, and that will give me an extra life. But 25 bucks for that 1 extra life.
I'd rather spend it on the new.
Exactly. You buy 30, 40 cards for that same price and max them up to do something later.
That's why the new format is awesome. It's going to be awesome.
I think it's going to do wonders for adoption. I think there's a lot of people who arrive, they look at it, and then they get beaten by a team and they go, oh, well, that team cost $26,000. But it's not the utility of the cards, it's just the scarcity that's driving up the price. So if they can arrive, go straight into new, and then take on teams that look a lot more like the cards that are cheaply available to them, I can see it doing wonders for adoption, right? And I've been a fan of the concept since they announced it. So
with the new format, I'm pretty sure they'll restructure the power limits to get to the next ranks. Like tiers as well.
Especially if you get wrecked by a card and you jump on the market to look it up, go, oh shit, they're $50 each, as opposed to getting wrecked by a card and go, oh shit, they're only 3 cents each. Like Pelacor Bandit at the moment, 3 cents. Just scoop up a bunch of them,
And if we're talking about somebody who's won, 5 credits in their last chest for their daily quest, right? And then they go, okay, it's 5 credits and I need 50,000 credits to buy that card that just beat me. It's an ugly look, right? And if you've been around for a while, you've got that depth of understanding to go, they're expensive because they're scarce, not because they're particularly good in battle. That's fine, but there's no one sitting there at his computer saying, hey man, that's why you got beat. That's why that card's so expensive. He just thinks, well, this really is pay to win, right? If I pay all that money for that card, then I can beat newcomers and all of that. So it gives the wrong impression, the wrong taste in the mouth, all of that. So big fan of the concept of the new and wild and modern, and I'm looking forward to dominating in wild. And I'll let the new kids play in modern until they get ambitious, and then they can come for me and well, I hope they'll lose, but there's always a bigger fish, right?
Yeah, indeed.
I do want to get back to some of Sarah's questions. Actually, I wrote some down. What do you need to get from silver to bronze? Well, it's just power. And there's not that much power. I think it's like 15,000 CP to get into silver. I don't know if that's silver 1, silver 3.
Silver 3 is 15k. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not a lot. And what I would do is, to get there quicker, I would just go to Peak Monsters. I'd go to compare. I'd go best CP to cost ratio, and I'd literally get the best CP to cost ratio and get all the cheapest ones. And that will get you there, the bar raised quicker to get into those leagues, because bronze and silver, I feel like in difficulty, there's not that much of a difference. There's really not. People still use like level 1 cards. And so if you can just get like the bare, the real cheap cards like a Goya Lion, Uraeus, Goya Devil, Zenith Archer, they're all the best CP to the cost ratio, and that will definitely get you over the edge with little money. So that's that question.
So how does Peak Monsters with the compare. So it literally just tells you which cards get you the best power.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
For your buck, 1 USD would be like, so Gargoyle Lion, for 1 USD, it gives you 192 collection power. That's insane. That's like, yeah, that's really good. Yeah. And what's some other
And
questions?
you
we have
used that
here?
trick, didn't you, to get into gold too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
How you
mean,
going for the season? Because I'm still, I mean, still in gold 1 at the moment, still trying to get back into gold 2. Other way around, I mean, gold 3, trying to get into gold 2. Yeah.
I'm actually in gold 1.
Ah.
And I've maxed out my rating. The gold bar's full, and I'm 15,000 power away from diamond 3 at the moment.
Oh shit!
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you made it to diamond before?
Never. So.
All right. Well, there you go. So ignore everything I said about capping yourself out at gold league. You push on, son. You push on as hard as you can.
Exactly.
Come play in the big leagues. It's good. I'm right in the middle of diamond right now, so I'm halfway through diamond 2. So.
Man, that's it.
But that's quite high for me this early in the season. We've got 5 days left. Normally I'm sort of toddling around diamond 3 now, and then I make a late push and then realize I can't make it to champ with 1 day to go. So if I keep this up and the weekend's coming up with a bit of time off, I might sneak back into champ 3 this time. Fingers crossed.
That would be sweet. But it's not like you're really like spending heaps of time on it hustling. Like you obviously could.
Yeah. I'm probably an hour a day. On average, I'd spend, and that's doing quests on 2 accounts. I play on my daughter's account, which is sort of silver and gold.
Cool. And another question that Sarah brought up is the lessons that new people can learn not to make mistakes. Well, I'll just say focus on one splinter or a couple at a time and get them to the level of which that tier allows you to maximize those cards and all that. So yeah, just so buy up where it's appropriate to and max it out, because you're going to get a massive overhead, like the advantage you get over others who aren't doing that. It's huge, especially in the lower leagues. Like not many people are pumping in like much cash into it. They're really not.
Yeah, I've been
you know,
I've been coaching a young lad. I think he's 12, 13, one of my boys' friends, and he's only started playing recently. I set him up with the starter pack, and it's been quite enlightening watching him. And he's asked me from time to time to go and review his matches, and I've said a couple, because I gave him a goblin mech, but he's become over reliant on it, and people are seeing that he uses the goblin mech every single match. So then, of course, they're going magic heavy and the like, and he's sort of, really struggling with it. It's been enlightening to go back and see it through a new person's eyes. One of the tips I gave him was that he's trying to attack in too many directions at once, where he's got, this is my favorite snipe card, and this is my favorite sneak card, and this is my favorite magic card.
Yes.
I'll just put them all in one team. And like I said to him, a card that's almost dead will still fire just as hard as one that's sometimes more so within rage. Will fire just as hard. So instead of half killing every card on his team, you want to completely kill half of the cards on his team, right?
Quicker.
Because then you just pick over the survivors and pluck them off, and away you go. So that is really important. So it's not about, okay, always just attack the front.
No.
It can be as simple as, if you want to hack through armor and get most bang for your buck, go ranged forward at his tank. Heavy ranged forward at his tank, or multi-melee sneak, or multi-snipe. But don't try to attack forwards and multi-snipe. If you're going to go multi-snipe, put something up the front, or 2 things up the front that are just defensive. Put a cube or an Ariathus or Pellicor Conjurer or something like that. That's not even attacking, right? The guy at the front, his sole job is to survive, while the guys up the back are just doing that snipe damage or that sneak damage. So try to focus your firepower on one opponent is a big one. That's true. Also, don't be too predictable, because your opponents can see your past matches, see what you've played, what splinters you lean on, and particularly when you're new and young, He just pulled a legendary today out of a pack I sent him.
Nice.
So he's going to be a happy camper. He was pretty stoked about it. He's like, oh, it's a tank. It's really not a tank. Don't use it as a tank. It's the 8 mana magic. He's got recharge. I'm going to tell you his name any second now. Legendary. Ifrit Rising. 2 big horns. And he's recharge. He's a legendary.
He's fire.
And fire, yeah, fire speeder. And I said to him, it's great. Congratulations. That's your first legendary. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go and find any opportunity to play fire. You're going to find any opportunity to use him. And your opponents are going to see that you use him in every match, and they're going to wreck you for it, right? They're going to hit you hard and fast. They're going to, play heavy magic, reflect with heal, whatever. You need to not, and again, this is not something that a normal player who's been around for a while will recognise, because I'm not predictable. I've got dozens of cards I'm in love with. I mean, I am still predictable, but the guy who's only got 1 legendary, he's far more likely to find reasons to play that and get wrecked for it, because people are watching what he's doing. So
absolutely,
yeah, a couple of tips there. That's a few things I've taken home.
Absolutely.
But the big general one is look at the lineup, like what we did before our matches, just now. Look at the lineup, have a think about what you think is going to happen, and then you watch the match. And if you were right, go start another match. But if you were wrong, watch it a second time and work out why you were wrong, because then you say, okay, here's what I predicted, here's what actually happened. And then that second observation, where you actually learn what happened, that will correct the incorrect assumptions that are informing your predictions. So that's my absolute look at it. What's going to happen? If you were right, reward yourself by going straight to the next battle. And if you were wrong, you need to spend the time to watch and work out why.
Yeah. How you were counted. Why?
One of the things I picked up from Gio too, like he'd come over with his laptop and we'd like go through stuff, because this is back when I had a bigger deck than he did, and I was like a league ahead of him. The situation's reversed, but like 2 different. We're wired very, very differently, right? So watching him play, I'm like, why on earth did you do that? But then I watch and go, that's why you did that. I would never have thought of that, because I'm wired so differently. And one of the things I picked up from him was with leveling up some cards, I used to just look at the bar and think, okay, how much more to get this one over and this one over? And Gio stressed, like, get the next buff. You might get the next buff at level 5 on this card, or level 6. And when it's adding, like, suddenly this card has got poison, or suddenly this card's got reflect, it's such a difference. And I really noticed it now when end of the season, going back into silver, when I lose some of my buffs, it was like, and now from my perspective, I honestly, now that I've been playing in gold for like 3 seasons, I think it's harder to play in silver than in gold, because these cards are suddenly way better. Same card, just because I've got that one extra buff.
That's one of the main reasons that I try to get to champion each season, because I want to get bumped back down to diamond. If I get bumped back down to gold, it takes me 3 or 4 days to just adjust to being in gold again. I'll pick Serpentine Soldier for his thorns, but he doesn't have his thorns, examples of that where, so yeah, absolutely. That's my main reason for pushing to champ. Yeah, okay, I get the chests as well, but I also get to keep playing in the, where my cards have all their abilities.
You're not pushed back as far at the start of the season. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Forgot about that.
And something else Gio mentioned too is like silver sort of level. Like, well, if you've just got the edge on your competitors because you are scooping up some cards and stuff like that. Actually, where was I going with that?
There's heaps of bots in silver. So if you're just a bit better, you're going to win, even if you use the same lineup, which everyone does. Everyone uses the basic lineups anyway, most of the time. Unless you get that odd player who is like, let's say, who has a mad range of cards and has just got knocked, hasn't played for a while. He's in bronze. He has got to work all his way up. And then he's probably going to wreck you anyway. But
I remember now what I was going to say is, like, for example, I might have another competitor. We're both going death. We've both got winged Cursed Windaku in first position, but mine's got 11 lives. His has only got 9. And it's like, that makes such a difference. And for what cost-wise at the moment, for practically nothing, just to get some of those. If you know that people keep using this. Now, how often do you both have the same tank? It happens so often.
It does.
And if your tank has just got one more buff than theirs, or a couple more lives, an extra attack, one faster speed, and you know that you keep coming up against your equal, why wouldn't you want to buff it up a little bit?
Yeah, but if you don't, and you just wait 18 months, then you look at your Cursed Wind Echo and you go, oh, it's not worth paying that to get 1 extra health, just like you do with the Magi Sphinx today. The problem, Marty, you're not thinking fourth dimensionally.
Yeah.
And that's where I say I'm not interested in a card unless I'm going to max it, because I learned my lessons. So with your Magi Sphinx, same thing with the Cursed Wind Echo. Pick where you want to end up and get there while he's still cheap, while he's still readily available.
Yeah. So I've just been getting mine to level 6 at the moment, which is the maximum benefit I can get them from. Yeah.
I find also with if you're starting off and you have some money, I reckon for a silver gold deck, more so like lining into gold, that's still gonna make you win here and there. Literally, it's $150 to $200 US, that range, to get a nice thing going for each of the splinters. It's really not that much considering how much you probably spend on a lot more shit, other shit that you have in the past. And I think it's highly affordable. It's really not that crazy, it really isn't. And even if you take away all the epics and all that, if you get the cheap reward cards and you want to rent a card to try it out, just to see how it synergizes with a deck or whatever else you line up, do that, because you don't need all the legendaries, you don't need all the epics, just see what works well with you. That's what I think. And another thing is when you combine cards to burn them, instead of leaving it like, say your card needs 30 to combine to get to the next level and you only have 5, don't combine it. Wait until you have more, or combine the ones that you have in between. So you have, let's say, a level 1 and you have enough for a level 2, do that, and then work on your way up to the next level 2, do that until you have enough to max out or to bring to the next level, the top one, which has 30. So now you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. Now you have 6 sets of 5, of that you can now combine all together. So instead of like leaving it, halfway hanging, because let's say the cards, they rise up in price 18 months from now, and you're like, shit, now I have this OCD effect where I have this card that I need 5 more to max out for let's say level 5, but I can't do it because I don't have enough money. You might as well have those singles and then sell those singles, and put it somewhere else or whatever, So I don't know if I explained that properly. If anyone wants to elaborate on that.
No, I think you did a good job.
Yeah. Gio mentioned that to me last time, because I got into the habit of every time I get a chest or a daily chest, click on that button, combine all cards. And Gio's like, no, I don't do that anymore. It's like, why not? And he explained, it's like, I mean, especially like, 30 cards to the next level. If you've only got 15, they're wasted. You're not getting any benefit from that card because you're halfway there. Whereas if you've got 15 separate cards you can sell, it was like, and again, just listen to someone else who thinks so differently than the way you think. It's just expanding.
They'll still count towards your collection power though.
Yeah.
They're still, but they won't improve the card at all. And I think, it took me a long time to come around to because I will get more than enough reward cards to max out each one over the course of the time that they're printing, because I've got a couple of alts that are on a bot that feed me reward cards, and I've got a couple of sources of reward cards, and so I'll always get enough to max out pretty much all of them. and then have a whole lot left over. So I tend to, again, avoid that and keep them in singles, because often I'll say, oh, I just want to sit on these ones as singles, because I think their benefit, their value down the track will be selling them as singles to people who just need 3 to get to that next level that they, just need this, rather than combining them. With what we were talking about before, with the 1 extra health, what I find really interesting sometimes is to go through, a bit of a post-mortem on a match and go, okay, it doesn't seem much going from 10 health to 11 health. But if you've got somebody behind that card that gives strengthen and tank heal, for example, or 2 different cards that do that, then that strengthen is going to get your tank that you're talking about going from 10 to 11. He's got up to 12 now. Instead of healing for 3, he'll heal for 4. And so if he lasts for 6 or 7 rounds, then he's healing for 1 extra health per round. It's not just 1 total. Instead of healing for 3, he's healing for 4. And if you've got 2 healers behind him and 1 strengthen, then now he's healing for 8 every round instead of 6, which means he can take a whole lot of damage. So that 1 extra health might stop him from dying in round 2 and keep him alive till round 6, which can make a massive, obviously, effect or impact on the outcome of the battle. One of my, when we're talking Earth, one of my my preferred strategies is 12 mana. I get Failed Summoner, Goblin Chef, and then Wood Nymph, and summoned by Lyanna. That's 12 mana. Lyanna gives Strengthen, Failed Summoner gives Strengthen, and Wood Nymph gives Strengthen. So that gets my 9 health Failed Summoner, who'd be healed for 3, gets him up to 12 health, which means that Wood Nymph is healing him for 4. And in a 12 mana match, right, when you're doing Magic Reflect and you're doing Demoralize to stop their melee attacks from coming in, you're getting healed for 4 health each round. That is a massive wall of, for quite cheap. And so then, because that's a sustainable system, it's a sustainable setup for most builds, Goblin Chef just has all the time in the world to hit them, poison, afflict, just slowly chip away at their entire team. And that's been an incredibly successful, lineup. But you take away any of those strengthens, and my Failed Summoner is now at 11. He doesn't have the strength to get healed by 4 every round, only 3. And you'll be amazed how many times that makes the difference. So it can seem, whatever, it's only 1 extra health, but that it's hard to overstate just how much that can matter.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'd like to mention, especially when you've got 2 Cursed Windicoos at the front, and each time you first attack each other, and Thorns going both ways as well, 1 or 2 extra health. And I like Gio said, at the silver level, you don't come across that a lot. They've only gone maybe 3 or 4, and although I've buffed mine up to 6, I'm not getting the maximum effect of leveling it up while I'm still in silver trying to get back into gold. I still do have a couple more over what people haven't spent, and I think it's worth it for sure. Yeah. Gio, what you got there?
Yeah, I was just thinking about neutral again. Yeah, neutral it's so good, because it just, again, with all these other, lineups that you have, there's always mostly a neutral in there, I reckon. Especially at the lower levels, I find like they're really important, to aid your lineup, your composition, if you may. And yeah, like Uraeus is a must, yeah.
I think my Uraeus is pretty low, actually. I've never
level
looked.
4.
Yeah.
That's just, once he has poison, I mean, sure, if you want to be a Matt and just like max out, it's different story. But level 4, like for silver gold, is sweet, like it's cool. Yeah, even like Creeping Ooze. See, you don't need to max out all of these cards for neutral. If you have like let's say 1 Creeping Ooze, that's fine. All you need is slow, yeah? If you don't have much to spend. For Chaos Agent, you just need to get that to level 2, let's say. So he has, so he evades attacks more so than not. For supply runner, he gets swiftness at level 5. That could be really good to up the speed of your team. Scavo healing at level 1. Well, he gets repair, although he's got shitty health. But hey, if you hide him in the middle somewhere or behind a big tank, and you know, at the lower levels, it's a world of difference when most people use melee. It's just reality of things. I find most people use melee, maybe some range here and there.
Just
and
keep
all that.
topping those shields up, makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and Xenith Monk, he's important at lower levels because he's got heal at level 2. You know, so heals are pretty big.
Yeah, so my Uraeus, I was just checking it there. He is only level 1, but I only need 1 card to get him to level 2. I'm on 2 or 3. So
you need 1 more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you one because I just yes. I'm gonna send Bob one.
So that level 2, that it gets me an extra attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't even realize how close you are to the next level, unless you look. And I don't do that, I think, as often as I should. Just checking my cards. I do every time I get a new reward card, I check. But how many other cards that have I got that I'm so close to and you buff that I don't even realize because I haven't just checked? Yeah.
One neutral Chaos Legion that I really enjoy, again at max level. I picked this guy up because I got all excited about Waka Flocka Flame. I was careful how I word that. Waka Flocka Flame. And I was thinking, well, poison. So I just want a scatter shot. I just want a poison sprinkler. So I grabbed Gem Meteor, and I haven't used him many times, but he has a decent speed. His health's okay, but summoned by Selenia Sky, he already does 4 damage. So this is a max level. He does 4 damage. So he's now up to 5 damage with summoned with Selenia Sky, and he hits anyone. It's random.
Oh, the random ones. I love that.
Exactly. The amount of times he will sit in my back row and just completely kill one of theirs in their back row because he has Pierce. Oh. So you get a card that's, you know, it's a support card and only has 3 health, but it has 2 armor. Don't matter. It's dead. Completely dead straight away, first round. For sure. And it could be one of their pivotal support ones. It could be somebody like Dr. Blight that you can't even target. Doesn't matter. Scattershot, doesn't care. It's just going to hit somebody, right?
Yeah.
And so that has been a real boon to me personally, is Gem Meteor, because again, I haven't used it many times, but the times I have used it, I've been really impressed by the chaos that it brings to the match.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
Random.
They don't know what's going to happen. And I almost feel like I want to play it a lot so that people are worried when they see my name. They go, he's going to play that bloody Gem Meteor now. I need to somehow mitigate and, you know, make them overcautious, and then just, you know, maybe you don't play it that round.
And how do you counter something that's random?
Well, that's the thing. You would need to have, I think taunt. You would need to have fewer. No, taunt doesn't matter.
It doesn't work.
No, I think the best bet then would be for you to say, if it's a mid-mana match, is for you to say, I'm going to go fewer cards, but make them bigger and stronger. You know, get a card with shield and more health and a self-healer and that type of thing. Instead of having a whole gamut of glass cannons up the back, then people are saying, oh, I really can't afford to do that. I'll put, you know, a Cyclops with shield and you know, a couple of self-healers, and, you know, try to, because I guess the flip side to this is, you know, if you've got a sniper, he's going to keep hitting his target until they're dead. Whereas Gem Meteor, he needs to kill it in one shot, because there's not that much, there's not a high chance that he's going to target that same card.
Yeah.
So now we risk being in that position where what I mentioned before to the newcomer, is saying, you know, you've got all of his cards are half dead, which you could very much go in that direction with Gem Meteor, and that's what I was worried about. You know, all of his cards are half dead. But adding Pierce to him was an absolute brainwave, because it means that there's a really good chance, if you're hitting a squishy glass support cannon guy up the back, there's a really good chance that you're actually killing him in one shot, which can absolutely ruin whatever they were planning to do. So
Yeah.
Gem Meteor I like. The other one that stands out for me in Chaos Legion, I'm trying to make a bit more of an attempt to, you talk about more recurring cards, is Disintegrator. I think having Demoralize on a card is always good, because if you've got Broken Arrows, if you've got no magic, there's you've already, half of what they're likely attacking you with, you've already taken a chunk out of. If it's melee only, it's a no-brainer. He's melee, so he can play in melee only, but he's going to chop down all of their attack by one. Super Sneak, Melee Mayhem, another good reason to pull him in. So I like Disintegrator a lot, but Gem Meteor I think is probably my favourite, just for the Bedlam.
All right. Okay, we're almost out of time as well on the timer. So I'd like to thank Bling It. You see it on our last post. We love that sort of engagement. Look how excited Gio got to actually address some points. So if you got questions for Gio, pop them down below. And I believe you still got a lot more to share with us in the next episode on some of the points that Sarah brought up in her comments.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to the next episode to see what Gio's got for us.
Honestly, I don't have, it's not much, yeah? I can summarize it. Quicks, level 2 for silver, and $50 on each of the splinters, the new cards. That's it.
Yeah, one of the things I've learned about you in the time I've known you, when you say it's nothing much or it's something small, it's always mind-blowing or it's huge. So I'm really looking forward to it. And again, just remember, every week 10% of the post rewards do go to the viewer who created the most engagement on the post. So Sarah was the clear winner on the last one. Now the next one could be you. Engage with us, create the engagement, give Gio some work to do, and give Matt something to talk about, and then I can just sit back and say nothing for a whole episode. That would be absolutely freaking awesome. And any wrap up words, guys?
Yes. If you have all melee, right, and someone's using a lot of sneak, always have a card with retaliate and pierce at the back row. Forgotten one. That is it.
All right.
That is it.
And what is forgotten one, quickly?
Oh man. Oof. Man, he's fire. Get him gold. He's got immunity. He's got retaliate. He has, where is he? Yes. Yeah, he's got retaliate, piercing, and immunity.
All right.
Unreal.
Forgotten one.
He combatants all the sneak that I've come up against. And if you have triage or something and repair, man, that's how you wipe out a sneak.
Yeah, and with immunity, you're not going to knock him off with your AS, are you?
Nope.
It's a good point. Yeah, I like him a lot. He's not very fast, so just because retaliate triggers doesn't mean it's going to hit. That's my only take home. He's only 2 speed, but when he does hit with that pierce, it's gonna certainly hurt. It's a good take home. Final thoughts for me? No, it's always a pleasure, gents. I'll see you next week, and look forward to it in the meantime.
All right. So, on the click out.
Oh yeah.
I'm Bob Fett. Peace out.
Yeah, what's up?
That's good.
No.
Oh man.
Just the same little bit of your butt that we see every week, Gio. But
fuck.
if no one knew that was you, they wouldn't know it was you. It's just that tiny little bit each time. It's fine. All right, great episode, guys. That was awesome.
Yes.
And what we've got down less than a minute.
All right.
So with this new cutoff, it gives me a timer, which is good.
Beauty.
So well done.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing the finished result. And,
Alrighty.
Yeah, beauty. Thanks again, guys.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Adios.
See you, man.